what is Varignon's theorem? If number of forces are acting on a particle simultaneously, then the algebraic sum of the moments of each individual force about any point is equal to the moment of their resultant about the same point. This is the statement for the Varignon's theorem. Now, in simple language, how we can get this Varignon's theorem, because we know that this is an important topic for our subject, that is engineering mechanics, as well as this is also important for all solving all the numericals, because solving the numericals with Varignon's theorem will give you certain skill to apply the moments, to resolve the forces and apply the moments for that forces. That skill is developed by using the Varignon's theorem, by solving the numericals based on Varignon's theorem. So therefore, this is important for all of you. So I will draw one simple diagram here. This is your horizontal x-axis. And there are certain forces acting on it. Suppose that this is F1, this is F2, and next one is the F3. Now these three forces are acting at a right angle to this horizontal. Now you have to calculate the moment at certain point. Now let us assume that the point is located here at this point. Now assume that this point is O. O is this point. At this point you need to find the moment caused by these three forces. Now you will also get the resultant of these three forces acting in the same direction, because these three forces are parallel to each other. F1, F2, F3, all these three forces are parallel to each other, and they are perpendicular to this x-axis. This is your positive x-axis. Now there is certain resultant, and let us assume that this resultant is acting here. Let us assume that this resultant is acting here at certain distance. So this resultant is your capital R. This is the resultant. Okay. Now we are having certain distances for this. Let's draw the distances. For F1, we are having this distance D1. For F2, we are having distance D2. For F3, we are having the distance D3. And for R, we are having the distance small d. Okay, so we'll write the distances. D1, D2, D3 and D. So now we have written all the distances for the all forces including the your resultant. Now how to apply the statement of Varigno's theorem? That the moment of resultant about any point is the summation of the individual moments of the forces. This is the general statement of the Varigno's theorem. Okay. Now, first of all, we will write the moment by the resultant. So, what is the definition of moment? Moment is the product of force and distance. So, therefore, the force is capital R here in case of resultant multiplied by its distance, which is small d, is equal to R into D is the moment caused by resultant at the point O. Remember this thing. Your R is going in clockwise direction. All the forces F1, F2, F3 are in clockwise direction. You can see this here. All the forces are in clockwise direction. Okay. So R into D, which is the moment by the force resultant, capital R multiplied by the distance D, is equal to the moments by the individual forces, that is F1 into D1 plus F2 into D2 plus F3 into D3. This is the summation of moments by the individual forces, and this is nothing but the Varigno's theorem. Okay, so we'll write it here again. F1 into D1 plus F2 into D2 plus F3 into D3. So here we have got the expression for this Varigno's theorem. So I hope that you got this expression. This is an important expression. Now, further, how this Varigno's theorem can be again used in case of the components of the forces, because a force is split into the two directions, Fx and Fy, right? Force can be splitted into the two directions, Fx and Fy, means along the x-axis and along the y-axis. These are the two directions. Now, how we can use this Varigno's theorem in such cases where the forces are going to be splitted? So in that case, your expression will be somewhat different. Your expression will be like this. We will again write this expression. If your forces are splitted, so Rx into dx, that is the component of resultant in x direction multiplied by the distance of that point O from the component in x direction, that is dx, is equal to F1 into x. F1 into x means F1x. F1x means x component of the F1. X component of the F1. This is not the sign of into, means it is not the sign of multiplication. It is F1x multiplied by the D1x. D1x means x distance from the x axis up to the x component of the F1. Okay, so Again, you have to make the summation of this. Then F2, again x component of F2 multiplied by D2x plus again F3x multiplied by D3x. Okay, so this will be the expression for your Varignon's theorem for resultant in X direction. Now the same expression you can get here for the Y direction also. For Y direction also, you can get the same expression. Ry dy. Now this is what the Y component of resultant. Y component of resultant multiplied by the distance from the Y axis. Distance from the Y axis about up to this point O means Ry, the distance of Ry from the point O in Y direction. Okay, that is Ry into dy plus F2y multiplied by F1y, Y component of force F1 multiplied by D1y, that is the distance y in one in Y direction, plus F2y into D2y plus F3y into D3y. Now this will be applicable when you are having the forces which are not parallel to either y-axis or x-axis. Okay, so when this will be applicable, that we will discuss now. Now suppose that this is F1, F2 and F3. Now these three forces are not parallel to each other. These are making an different angle. Each force is making a different angle with each other. Okay. Now this is your point O. Now this is your case 1. First one is the case 1. And this is your case 2.
ते काय म्हणत वहिनी पण पैसे देऊ नको म्हणतात का
ते मला विचारायचं कोणाला पैसे नको तुमचं नाव नाही
बड्डे काय ड्रेस काय आणला गेल का नाही तुम्ही सांगा बरं
रोज
So these are the case 1 and case 2. Okay, so in case 1 we got the simple expression, and in case 2 we got the somewhat complicated expression. Why? Because the angles are different. Okay, now how these angles are, we will just write for the example. This is first angle, this is second angle, and this is third angle.
काय म्हणणार का काऊन दिले तो असं
First angle, second angle, and third angle. Okay, so first angle, let us suppose that this angle is 80 degree. Second angle is 70 degree, and third angle is, suppose that it is 60 degree. Now three angles are there. Okay, and for these three forces the resultant will also be there, right? So therefore we have to also draw here the resultant. So let us assume that this resultant is lying here. This is your capital R, which is the resultant. Now this resultant is also making certain angle. Okay, now you must have understood that we have to split the forces. As these forces are not in perpendicular direction, that's why we have to split the forces in x direction and y direction. And therefore here we can split the force in x direction and in y direction. This F1 we can split into like this. Now this will be the F1x and this will be F1y. We can write it here, F1x, and this will be the F1y. Okay, F1x in negative x direction, F1y in negative y direction. Okay, that's why their sign will be negative. Whenever you will put the value in this expression, their sign will be negative. Now similarly we will split the F2, right? And similarly we can split the F3 also. So therefore we will write the F2x here for the x component, which is again in negative x direction. Then F2y, again this is in negative y direction. Then F3x in negative x direction again, and F3y in negative y direction. So we have written all the components now. Okay, you can zoom it and you can see it clearly. Okay, now after writing all these components, we have to split the R also. We have to split the resultant also. Okay, so we'll split the resultant also here. So for resultant, we can write here Rx and Ry. Okay, Rx and Ry. So now you must have understood that how we have written all these expressions here. So therefore, for Rx, we have written here this expression. Here you can see for Rx. And for Ry, we have written the expression here. So now you are able to see it, that how this Varignon's theorem is useful in both the cases. In case 1, we got all the forces which were parallel to each other. But in case 2, we are having all the forces which are not parallel to each other. All the forces are inclined, and therefore we have to split the forces in x direction and in y direction. And after splitting the forces, we have to make the summation of the moments, right? Force into distance, perpendicular distance, that is important. Okay, now how you will get the d1x and d2x and d3x, that will be the question from your side, right? How we can get the d1x, d2x, d3x and d1y, d2y and d3y. Okay, so I will show you here in this diagram that for f1x, all the distances we are going to take from this point. At the point you want to calculate the moment. Suppose that you want to calculate the moment from the point O. Okay, if you want to calculate the moment from point O, then you will get the distance of f1x from this point O. Okay, so that distance, perpendicular distance, will be your d1x. Now for f1y, same distance you have to calculate from this point O. This distance will be your d1y. Okay, that distance will be your d1y. Similarly, for f2x, you have to calculate the distance from this point O. You have to extend this line. Remember one thing, that whenever we are going to calculate the distance of the force, we can extend that force. You can extend the line. You can extend this f2 up to certain level, and then you take this distance from the point O. Okay, and whenever we are going to calculate the moments, at that point we have to extend these forces. We have to extend these forces. Okay, so therefore, similarly in the case for f3 also, f3 is split into two components, f3x and f3y, and again we need to calculate its distance from the point O. That is your f3x, d3x and d3y. Okay, so at the end, what I am going to tell you is that the summary of this Varignon's theorem, that if the forces are parallel to each other and they are perpendicular to the x-axis or y-axis, in the case 1, it is very simple to calculate the values by using the Varignon's theorem. Why Varignon's theorem is used? It is used to calculate the unknown values that you don't know. Now in numerical, they will ask you to find the value of d, value of d1, d2, d3. If all other values are given, they will ask you to find the one unknown value. Okay, so you can use this expression, r into d, f1 into d1, f2 into d2, f3 into d3. You can use this expression. Okay, but if the angles are inclined, then at that time you have to split the forces as they have been given in this diagram. You have to split the forces, and then you can write the two expressions. one for the x-axis and one for the y-axis. Means one for the Rx and one for the Ry. You have to split this component. Now you have to split it based on the angle, right? F1x cos of 80, F1y sin of 80, F2x cos of 70, F2y 70, right? In this fashion, in this manner, you are able to calculate its components, right? So F2 cos of theta is 70 here. So F2 cos of theta will be your F2x, right? What will be the F2y component? F2 sin of theta means sin of theta is 70 degree here. So F2 sin of theta will be the F2y. Now in case of F3, what will be the F3x? F3x will be equal to F3 into cos of theta. What is the cos of theta? Cos of 60 degree, right? And also you have to implicate this sign. Yesterday we have discussed the ASTC rule, that is all sine tan cos rule. Now this is going in second quadrant, means it is negative x-axis and negative y-axis for all the forces. So therefore its sign will be negative. Though we have written here plus sign, but after writing the values it will become negative. So F3x will be F3 cos of theta, F3y will be F3 sin of theta, and theta is 60 degree here. Okay. So in this way you can solve the numericals based on the Varigno's theorem. So Varigno's theorem is an important concept for the unit number